Hello?
Tracy, it's Phil.
Phil, where the hell are you guys?
We lost Doug.
What? We're getting married in 5 hours.
Yeah, that's not gonna happen. What happened last night? Oh, God! Am I missing a tooth? Oh. Whose baby is that?
Check its collar or something.
I looked everywhere. Nobody's seen Doug. He's not here. Where's your car, officer? All right, everybody act cool. Just get it and go.
What is going on? I lost a tooth. I married a whore. How dare you? She's a nice lady.
Some guys just can't handle Vegas. Mike Tyson?
This is my favorite part coming up right now.
Yeah, people just took to this movie, and keep in mind, this movie did not have big-name stars back then. I mean, Bradley Cooper, at the time, was known for being kind of the guy that was like the dickhead from Wedding Crashers, the dickhead antagonist of the Wedding Crashers. He wasn't really seen as kind of a big box office draw. He'd been in movies before this, like Midnight Meat Train, and then he was on the very underrated show Kitchen Confidential. But then this movie comes along, and then Ed Helms, who was on The Office, or was also on The Daily Show before that, was slowly starting to build his legacy as a comic actor. Zach Galifianakis was a relative unknown, and this movie just pushed every one of these people that were involved in this movie. Ken Jeong, they all went on to become big names in the decade to come, and it all came together with The Hangover. A story where you have Phil, Stu, Alan, and Doug, who travel to Las Vegas for a bachelor party to celebrate Doug's impending marriage, Doug being played by Justin Bartha. However, Phil, Stu, and Alan wake up with Doug missing and no memory of the previous night's events, and must find Doug before the wedding. And of course, when they wake up, they realize that Ed Helms realizes he's missing a tooth. Bradley Cooper, Zach Galifianakis finds a tiger in the bathroom. They all find a baby in there, and for some reason, Mike Tyson is in their hotel room. Don't ask questions. It just is how it is. And as we go along, we see Ken Jeong as this kind of like how do you want to put him in this movie? He's basically a gay Chinese gangster, pretty much. Not as chaotic or as annoying as he would get in films to come, but that's kind of the thing with this movie in particular. It reminds me so much of the first Home Alone movie, because it was a hit that was nearly the equivalent of Home Alone. It was a film that was both a critical and a commercial success. It was a film that ended up becoming the 10th highest grossing film of the year, and actually ended up surpassing Beverly Hills Cop as the highest grossing R-rated comedy of all time. And I could have sworn that this ended up becoming the highest grossing comedy, surpassing Home Alone, but I could be wrong on that. But either way, it would later have been surpassed by Barbie anyway. But the film, not only was the film a big success overall, but it was a really funny movie. It was a really good, well-made film, because you could buy into the chemistry of the leading actors. You do believe Bradley Cooper, Ed Helms, and Zach Galifianakis do want to find their best friend, because they are as the movie says, as Zach Galifianakis sings in the song, they're the 3 best friends that anybody can have. I mean, Zach Galifianakis overall was really good in the movie. Everybody plays their parts in this movie fairly well. The humor overall is really good. You have supporting characters like Heather Graham, who kind of plays like she plays kind of like I want to say she's the mother of the baby that they find, but no, she's a stripper and an escort. You follow characters played by Rachel Harris, Sacha Bareilles playing Doug's bride-to-be. Of course, Jeffrey Tambor is in here playing the father of Alan, and I'm trying to see who else is here. Mike Epps has a role in here as another Doug that comes into play here. I mean, there's so many funny moments all throughout the movie, and you do get engaged in the mystery. You do want to know where the hell Doug is, and how is this all going to turn out in the end. The movie hooks you in right away, and it all leads up to him being in the most simplest of all places, and it's just, but it's about the journey and the adventure that these guys go on, and it is a big journey and a big adventure overall that they go on. And I said before that this is basically kind of even though it's R-rated, it's more of a lighter version of something like A Very Bad Things, which I think is a very underrated dark black comedy. This is like a more mainstream comedy overall. And if I had to choose between The Hangover and Very Bad Things, I don't even think I want to go that far, because as much as I like Very Bad Things, I do think this is the much better movie overall. I think it is a very solid film. I think it's a very good film, but it's the definition of a one-trick pony, because as we'll see later on with the sequels, you try to do this over and over again, and like, it just doesn't work as much. It just doesn't work. I mean, it's basically the equivalent to what Todd Phillips later did with the Joker. Joker worked well the first time around. There was no reason to make a sequel, no matter how hard you tried to add in more to it by adding Lady Gaga as Harley Quinn, even though she was one of the best things about that movie. If you don't have a good script to work with here, and you're only just making it because the first one was a success, maybe think about writing a better script overall, because that's what would happen with the next two movies. They tried so hard to make this the next comedy franchise, and it just didn't work after the other two movies. The Hangover Part 2 wasn't bad, but it was definitely the typical definition of a comedy sequel, where they're just ripping off the same stuff they've done before. Everybody's dumbed down to where they were at the beginning of the first movie. Nobody really learns a lesson, and we have to go back to square one all over again. It's just like, what's the point? Like, why do we have to do that with the sequels? But we'll eventually delve more into the problems of those movies later on. But in the meantime, let's just enjoy how The Hangover overall, the first movie, worked as well as it did. It is a very funny movie. It's a well-made film. The casting overall is great. The mystery is really good. It's a great movie. You can definitely see why a lot of people bought into it. It's a terrific film. One of the year's best movies, no question about it. So with that said, let's get to the other comedy that came out this weekend that didn't quite have as much of a success as The Hangover did, but is it as bad as most people say it is? Let's talk about it. Land of the Lost.
Rick Marshall, whose new book arrives in stores tomorrow. This theory of yours, what exactly is that?
Two simple words. Time warps.
You've spent $50 million of your money studying time warps?
Oh, that's adorable. No, taxpayers' money.
Something's happening. This is an earthquake. Did we go back in time? Yes, and space.
Friends?
Smells good.
You realize what this means?
Yes! Matt Lauer can eat it!
Try to be still. I don't think it's working.
Ah, good old 2009, when people still had respect for Matt Lauer until we realized that he was kind of a wacko, and definitely was somebody that should have never been able to get away with what he did. And the fact that Will Ferrell's character was so determined to tell Matt Lauer to go F himself, I mean, he was predicting the future, man. And so yeah, this is Land of the Lost, and there's definitely a lot to say about this movie, because yeah, it's a pretty big mess of a movie. You have Will Ferrell starring as paleontologist Rick Marshall, who takes Will and Holly, played by Danny McBride and Anna Friel, into a new world of dangerous dinosaurs and big bug-eyed lizard people known as the Sleestack, while trying to find their way back home. Save the universe and save his reputation by doing so. The dinosaurs with brains, brawn, and personality, and the adventures of scientific advancements and exotic beasts in a faraway land all add up to time-traveling fun and frolics, as Cinema Fan on IMDb, which, let's be honest, is probably universal, says on here. And okay, let's get the obvious thing out of here right at the gate. This is not a very good movie. It's a film, but it is a film that tried. It tried to do something different compared to the television series. I mean, this is a film that, this was a film that was clearly, they were trying to do something sort of like what a lot of these bad television show adaptations from the 2000s, or movies that weren't as tried to do. But then you had those two examples where they actually did kind of work, like the Flintstones kind of worked. The Brady Bunch movie worked very well. Sergeant Bilko. This one wants to try to be a satirical a satire of the original TV series, more campier, if you will, but it also wants to pay homage to it, and it's a really hard thing to do, and you really have to be very, very good at your craft to make it work. And this is not a hack director. This is Brad Silberling. Brad Silberling is the guy that did, Casper, Lemony Snicket's A Series of Unfortunate Events, Simon Birch. Did he do Simon Birch, or was it October Sky am I thinking of? It was neither of them. I completely got the wrong name here. But, he did City of Angels, Moonlight Mile, I mean, he's not a bad director overall. This is not a hack director. This is a guy that knows what he's doing. You got a good cast overall here. Farrell, Danny McBride, Anna Friel, Jorma Taccone. I could see what they were trying to do here, but I don't know. I just don't feel like this movie really promised what everyone was wanting from this movie. Like, we were supposed to get a satirical comedy based off of, how silly Land of the Lost is. Like, you really needed to go down. I mentioned Barbie before in the Hangover review. That's the direction I feel like they should have went with here. They should have gone all in with the satirical aspect to it. And I mean, if you could have done it that way, I think you could have had something really good here. But as it is, I don't know. Like, I don't hate it, but I don't really like it either. I feel like it's a movie that tried to do something a little bit different, try to do something that was both a parody, but also try to do something more serious, and it kind of really hurt them in the long run in general. But, yeah, I don't know. Like, Will Ferrell overall in here isn't that great either. Like, Will Ferrell can usually save a movie like this, but even he's kind of pushed it here. So is Danny McBride. It's amazing how Anna Friel's the only one that really comes out of this relatively unscathed. And of all people, Matt Lauer. I mean, Matt Lauer, say what you will about him now, but back then in this movie, I mean, his stuff in here still holds up. It's still very funny how he just likes taking joy in seeing Will Ferrell suffer miserably until the very end when he actually proves it. And it's just like, okay, it's just like he has to take it, eat a big bowl of crow, unlike what he would do later on in real life. But I think what the biggest problem with the movie is that you had a film like Journey to the Center of the Earth come out the summer before, and I think that movie was a better example of what Land of the Lost should have been. It's a movie that's a movie that knows how silly it is, how over the top it is, and just went along for the ride. And I feel like with this movie, they tried a little bit too hard to take it a little bit more seriously. And I think by doing that, I think it really stepped in the wrong direction here. I mean, it also didn't help that the script overall really isn't that strong. And I think there was a lot of, like, it also doesn't help that this is Universal. This is the company that made Jurassic Park, and everyone looks at this and thinks to themselves, I mean, you guys made Jurassic Park. I mean, I would think you'd want to try. I mean, the thing is, they didn't really try to make this stand out compared to other dinosaur movies at that point, so specifically the Jurassic Park movies, really. And let's be honest, the biggest thing that really holds this film back is that it doesn't include this. Now we've crossed the line, falling through time, living in the land of the lost. Okay, obviously that wouldn't have helped the movie, but that's just my last second thing I want to bring up here. That 90s theme song to Land of the Lost from the reboot. I mean, that's still one of those great bangers, man. Like, that show may have not been that great, even though you get to see President Bush as the father of the two kids in this, But no, that's a great song. That's a great underrated theme song that not a lot of people know about. You had to be there when this was on Nickelodeon. I mean, that's how I saw this, when Nickelodeon aired the show during the afternoon back in the 90s. I mean, that was a song that I just remember so much. More memorable than the TV series was in general. But overall, my final thoughts on Land of the Lost, it tried, it just didn't work. It was a film that I can't really say it's an all-around failure, but I can't really say it's a great movie either. It's just, it should have been a whole lot better than it actually was. So, with all that said, though, let's go ahead and move on to, look, as bad as Land of the Lost is, it's The Hangover compared to the next movie we have here. Nia Vardalos starring in My Life in Ruins.
Greece. A year ago, I hit rock bottom, so I came here to reconnect with my soul, find my mojo, or kefi, as the Greeks call it.
Late. Hello, and welcome to Greece. I'm your tour guide. Whenever we stop, you can leave whatever you need at the bus. Cameras, sweaters, handbags, anything. What about sweaters?
The star of my big fat Greek wedding.
Who's my driver?
Does he speak English?
No.
Has finally arrived in Greece.
Say hello to Prokopi.
Hey,
Oh, I'm sorry, he has a nickname he'd rather be known by.
Poopy.
For Georgia, romance is ancient history, and her life is in ruins.
I'm going tourist ruins I care nothing about. Pays lousy. I don't have any friends here. I haven't had sex in forever.
Forever is a long time.
You speak English? Anybody else? Ow.
You are too busy looking up. Look here. I know I'm touching your chest.
Oh, good.
But now, Georgia's discovering you gotta get in touch with your wild thing. How to let go and enjoy the ride.
Quit.
Mia Vardalos, Richard Dreyfuss.
He's a nice guy. Go talk to him.
Yeah, he's quiet, but I call it mysterious.
My Life in Ruins.
You look just like Angelina Jolie. You must get that all the time.
Yes, I do.
So, My Life in Ruins. Set among the ruins of ancient Greece, the film follows a tour guide played by Nia Vardalos, whose life takes a personal detour while the group gets entangled in comic situations among the ruins and a series of unexpected stops along the way. My Life in Ruins, believe it or not, is also the title of Nia Vardalos' career after My Big Fat Greek Wedding. I don't know if that is, I really don't think that's true or not, but let's be honest. I mean, man, talk about a career that fell apart so goddamn quickly after My Big Fat Greek Wedding. I mean, that's the one thing that she had going for her, and she just ran that into the ground. I mean, my God, by the end of the decade, she went from being one of the big breakout stars of the decade to, oh my God, can you please do something else that's not offensively bad comedy, or just you trying to go back to something, trying to go back to the past and trying to relive that memory again, because it ain't working, sweetie. It ain't working in this movie. And I don't hate Nia Vardalos. I don't hate her, but my God, everything she did in the decade, and everything she's done since then, because she's still trying to capture that My Big Fat Greek Wedding magic again, and it's just not there. She made 2 sequels to this that are completely 100% pointless. There's no reason that we needed My Big Fat Greek Wedding to make a trilogy out of it. And we talked about The Hangover earlier. The My Big Fat Greek Wedding is another movie that didn't need a trilogy. But it's not this. I mean, I'm talking about that, but this is just a bad movie. This is a lousy, lousy movie. The jokes in that trailer alone were groan-inducing. Everything about it, from the beginning of that trailer all the way to the end. Just like, some people say you look like Angelina Jolie. You look like Angelina Jolie. I bet you get that a lot. Yes, I do. No, you don't. No, you absolutely do not. You're trying way too hard to be relevant on this, and you're just on life, and you're just failing miserably at it. I mean, my God. The worst part about this whole thing is that this is not written by a hack writer. Guess who wrote this movie? Mike Reese from The Simpsons. One of the best writers The Simpsons has ever had wrote this. Excuse me for 1 second. That's probably over my thoughts on this movie. I just don't know. I mean, talk about a waste of everybody involved in here. A cast that includes Richard Dreyfuss, Rachel Dratch, and Harlan Williams. All very funny people. I don't hate Nia Vardalos either. I don't like, she can be funny, but you gotta do something that's more than just rehashing the same thing you've done over and over and over again. You gotta do better than this. This is just a bad movie. This is a terrible film. Plain and simple. Let's move on. So anyway, let's end the show on a much more positive note. It's been a good weekend overall. We had a good movie to start it off, a not so good movie that followed, and then one of the worst comedies of the year so far. So let's go ahead and get back on the right side of things with Sam Mendes' latest film, Away We Go.
Stay here.
Where would we go?
We could go anywhere we want.
Wow. It's a journey to see where they want to make their new life.
I love the idea of home. In this movie, family can be made up of anyone or anything.
They map it out with their hearts.
What you need to be happy is this. It's your family.
This is love. I hope people will find themselves in the movie somewhere.
I'll always love you. Even if it takes you months to lose this weight. Even if you're enormous. Away We Go. Rated R. In select theaters June 5th.
Certainly a much better movie from Sam Mendes than Revolutionary Road. A nice return to form for him. You have John Krasinski and Maya Rudolph as a couple steered in eccentricity and irregularity who are very much in love and thrilled when they find out that Verona, Rudolph's character, is pregnant. She's enjoying pregnancy. Bert is, however, practicing skills that he believes a good father should have. They are all living in the same state as Bert's parents, Jerry and Gloria, so their child-to-be can have grandparents. But when Bert and Verona go to dinner at his parents', the older couple shakes up the younger couple with surprising news. They've decided to move to Antwerp, Belgium. Verona lost her parents when she was relatively young, so she is very much alarmed, but the resilient couple quickly finds a way to turn it into a positive. They embark on a search for the exact right place for them to raise their daughter-to-be. They go to every place they can think of, meeting family and friends along the way with laughter and sadness. This is a road trip that the parents-to-be will always remember. And at least I'll remember it, because most people don't remember this movie all that much, which is a shame, because this is an absolutely fantastic movie. I mean, this is a great movie that has an incredible cast that includes John Krasinski and Maya Rudolph, as I said before, who really shine in this movie. You really do buy them as this couple who are really in love with the idea of having a kid and raising a family. And it just goes to show that these two have solid potential overall as actors as a whole. They are really entertaining people, and you do get invested in their journey, and it has the benefit of an incredibly stacked cast. I mean, you have Jeff Daniels, Catherine O'Hara, Allison Janney, Jim Gaffigan, Carmine Jogo, Maggie Gyllenhaal, Josh Hamilton, Melanie Linsky, Chris Messina, Paul Schneider. Just an excellent, excellent cast in here. And it's just an engaging film. This is written by Dave Eggers, who would later go on in the year to write Where the Wild Things Are. Did he write Where the Wild Things Are? It's actually, he did he? I thought he did, but let me just double check here, because I've been wrong before on this show. But let me just go ahead and see. Yeah, he wrote Where the Wild Things Are, which not as good as people make it out to be. There's some problems with it that we'll eventually get to, but he's a good writer overall. I've seen a lot of stuff of his that is very good. This is a very solid film. This is a very underrated little gem that a lot of people don't really think about all that much. It's one of Sam Mendes' most underrated movies. It's a really good movie. If you want to see John Krasinski and Maya Rudolph work together as a couple and show that they've got a lot of potential as an actor before they eventually made it on their own with bigger projects, this is definitely a film to check out. One I highly recommend. Away we go.
You bring that money down to me. Me? Or I start killing passengers. You don't want innocent people dying, do you? This the part where you try to get through to me? I don't think so. They want me to take the money down to the tunnel. You're taller than I thought you'd be. You're good looking, too. Come on, sit down. Let's go. You're playing with fire, my man. Get out of the way. Let them unload on me. They're going to kill the whole train. Tell them 1, 2, 3. Rated R.
Of course, the story of this is that you have a train dispatcher played by Denzel Washington who is pressed into the role of a negotiator after a criminal played by John Travolta hijacks a subway car of passengers. This is actually the third adaptation of this book that this is based off of. Of course, everyone remembers the Walter Matthau, Robert Shaw film. There was also a 1998 movie starring Edward James Olmos. But this is written by Brian Helgeland and directed by Tony Scott, and it's definitely not one of their better movies, even though it's not a bad movie. I mean, anything with Denzel Washington, I've said it before, I'll say it again, he's always going to be something to watch in this movie. And yeah, in this movie, he's great. He's really good in the movie. John Travolta's really good, too, playing a really good antagonist in this film. I mean, he's going against the type of character that we used to see him in, and he plays it very well here. Everybody plays their parts very well. You have a cast that also includes John Turturro, Luis Guzman, James Gandolfini, Michael Rispoli. A really good cast overall. And Tony Scott brings that manic energy that he likes to bring to this type of a film. And it does deliver for the most part. Is it one of the better films that he's ever done? Not really, like I said. It has a lot of flaws to it, but never to the point where I would say it's a terrible movie by any means necessary. It's an overall enjoyable film. I enjoy it. Taking a Pelham 1, 2, 3. Not much more to say about that one. With that said, let's go ahead and move on to the next movie we have here. Definitely one of the worst movies we have this week. Actually, it might be the worst. It's Eddie Murphy starring in the family comedy Imagine That.
Daddy saw it in a hurry.
Can I make pancakes?
Well, honey, I don't know if I have the right stuff for that.
I think the milk is spoiled.
That's not possible because I checked this.
For Evan Danielson, life was all work.
You said you'd do dress up.
Daddy has a lot of work to do.
And no play.
Hey, remember we talked about the day was going to come. You couldn't take the blanket to school with you anymore? That day's going to be today.
but he's about to get some help
Where are my notes for the 11 o'clock?
I think they're in there.
Oh my God.
from the last person he ever imagined.
Did you draw my worksheet? Pictures of people kissing or something?
The princess says those companies are gonna get married.
How did you know about this impending marriage? Where are you getting this information?
What do you mean you want bedtime stories? You don't want bedtime stories. I can make bedtime stories at home. Bedtime stories at home. I mean, it's literally that. Back when I did Hotel for Dogs, let's just say that I said that movie was kind of like Vapor. It just came and went. Imagine that is like Vapor 2. Except the Vapor also has flesh-eating bacteria because it comes and goes, but hurts you so much for just how stupid it is. It's basically the equivalent of a tapeworm, like it's eating you from inside. That's how bad this movie is. And no, I'm not kidding. This is so stupid that it physically hurts me to watch this movie again. That's how terrible this movie is. Imagine that tells the story of a relationship between a workaholic father, played by Murphy, and his daughter Olivia, who I did not know until recently was played by Yara Shahidi from Blackish. So that's kind of interesting to note. Her imaginary world becomes the solution to her father's success. And this was part of a string of really terrible Eddie Murphy comedies that were coming out between 2002 and 2012. And this was the time period that gave us such memorable assets such as The Haunted Mansion, Norbit, Meet Dave, 1,000 Words, and of course, The Adventures of Pluto Nash. Also, one thing of note, at the end of the last show, I said this was directed by Brian Robbins. It was not directed by him. This was directed by Kerry Kirkpatrick, who is a very prolific writer, and this is also written by Ed Solomon and Chris Matheson. So I guess this was not made by the same people who made Norbit or Meet Dave, but even he evened out the bad movies with stuff like Shrek and Dreamgirls and Tower Heist and I Spy, Showtime. But when Murphy attaches himself to bad movies like this, it just makes you want to smack your head against the wall and think to yourself, why are you wasting your comedic skills on this? Eddie Murphy is a hilarious guy. He's more than proven his worth as a comedic genius, but movies like this just make you scratch your head and go, why? Why did you pick this movie? I could understand if this was a script that might have had a hook to it, but no, it's pretty much a bad script that he attaches himself to. I mean, Daddy Day Camp was too much for him to return for, but movies like this, these are perfectly fine. I mean, the movie is just such a mess, and most of it comes from the story itself. Eddie Murphy's daughter's imagination can predict the future. I mean, how she can do that can happen, it's never really explained. It also doesn't help that the people Murphy works for have succumbed to stupid adult syndrome that you find in most bad kids movies like Blank Check. I mean, it's the perfect way to describe Imagine That. I mean, if you saw the Nostalgia Critic review, it's bland shit 101. I mean, that's really what the movie of the majority of the film is. It's just bland shit that doesn't work at all. Is there anything that gives this movie some credit? Well, I'll be honest, Eddie Murphy is not bad in here. He isn't doing his usual stick overall, and he has a good chemistry with his film daughter, Yara Shahidi, and again, she'd go on to star in Blackish, so these are two capable actors, and that's really all I got to say that's positive about it. Everything else, it's just bland. It's a bland movie, a lackluster premise, no twists or surprises, lackluster comedy. A talented cast wasted their potential on this. It just feels like no effort went into this whatsoever. They just needed something to shit out for the kids and pretend like there was and try to pretend that they were part of the competition in the summer of 2009. But bad news. Up came out the same year. Night at the Museum 2 came out the same year. You already lost before you even began. So that's all you can pretty much say about Imagine That. So let's get back to some good movies. Let's see what Sam Rockwell and Kevin Spacey are doing in space with Duncan Jones' Moon.
You've been up here too long, man. You've lost your marbles.
2 weeks, 2 weeks, 2 weeks.
I understand what's happening. This is my mind. I want to go home.
I know.
The directorial debut for Duncan Jones, in particular, you have Sam Rockwell as a man who experiences a personal crisis as he nears the end of a 3-year solitary stint mining helium-3 on the far side of the moon. Kevin Spacey co-stars with a voice role in here. You also have Kayla Scoderio from The Maze Runner, Benedict Wong from Doctor Strange, Matt Berry from What We Do in the Shadows. Good cast overall in here. This is written by Nathan Parker, who would later go on to work on Birth of a Nation. I take that back. That's the wrong Nate Parker. This guy wrote stuff like he did The Underground Railroad for Amazon, but he also did Blitz, Equals, Slingshot. Not the same guy who made Birth of a Nation, but Duncan Jones went on to make one of my favorite movies from 2011, Source Code. So yeah, pretty solid director overall. This was the movie that kind of got him that job in particular. He's really good, solid at making a film like this, and Sam Rockwell gives a great performance in this film. And once again, Kevin Spacey, I mean, say what you will about his personal life, this guy is a damn good actor, and he shows it in this movie. You don't see him at all, you just hear his voice, and it's just like, yeah, I remember why this guy was so enjoyable to watch in these movies, because he was really giving it his all. It's a great movie. It's a really solid film, a really good, visually pleasing-looking film. Small-budgeted film, too. I mean, it was not a big-budgeted movie in general for a first-time director. I mean, this is pretty impressive stuff all around. So, yeah, Moon is a pretty amazing film. Same can't be said for our last film, though. Let's go ahead and take a look and see what Francis Ford Coppola is up to now with his latest film, Tetro.
They don't have an ending. There doesn't have to be an ending, Benny.
What has happened to our family?
Rivalry.
So on the week of his 18th birthday, Benny, played by Eldon Ehrenreich from Hail Caesar and Solo: A Star Wars Story, who's a waiter on a cruise ship, has a layover in Buenos Aires. He seeks out his older brother, Tetro, who he hadn't seen in years. Tetro, who lives with Miranda, is a burned-out case. He's hot and cold towards his brother, introduces him as a friend, refusing to talk about their family, telling Benny not to tell Miranda who their father is. Thoughts on their father cast a shadow over both brothers. Who is he? And what past has Tetro left behind? Benny finds pages of Tetro's unfinished novel, and he pushes both to own his own history and to become a part of his brother's life again. What can come of Benny's pushing? I might have over-exaggerated before when I said this was not a good movie. It's not a bad movie per se, but it's a film that is more style over substance. I think the style overall is excellent. I think the visuals are very impressive to look at. It's the story overall that really is the downfall of the film. The film overall, story-wise, isn't really that strong, despite some really good performances. Eldon Ehrenreich wanted to become a really damn good actor. Vincent Gallo as Tetro is pretty solid overall in this, but other than that, though, it really is just a film that is just there to work because of the visual effects. I mean, the visuals look impressive, and the acting can be pretty solid overall, but the script overall is stuff we've seen done before. It's definitely not one of Francis Ford Coppola's better movies, but it's not a bad movie either, so mixed opinion on that one. That's Tetro.
Cutting it close.
Oh, come on!
Good morning, Miss Tate. I need you around this weekend. Do you have a problem with that?
No, it's my grandmother's 90th birthday, so I was going to go home and eat. It's fine. I'll cancel it.
Is that your family?
Yes.
They tell you to quit?
Every single day. Margaret Tate's office.
This isn't about my second raise, is it?
Margaret, your visa application is denied. You're being deported.
Deported? It's not like I'm an immigrant or something. I'm from Canada.
If you're deported, you can't work for an American company.
If there was any way at all that we could make this thing work.
Pardon the interruption.
I understand the predicament, but there's something that you should know. We're getting married.
Who's getting?
You and I are getting married. Yes.
We are
Getting married. Yes. Can't fight a love like ours. So, are we good?
Make it all legal and we'll put this whole thing behind us.
I'm not gonna marry.
If you don't, you'll be on the street all alone looking for a job.
Have the two of you told your parents about your secret love?
We're going to their place this weekend.
Oh, where's that?
Alaska.
Alaska. Where's Andrew's room? He'll sleep in here with you. We love to snuggle, don't we, honey?
Huge snugglers.
Breakfast for the happy couple. Oh, what is that?
I'm sorry.
What is it?
This summer, how can you be around someone that made your life so miserable?
Sweetie, come on. Some proposals change you.
Why don't you get married here tomorrow?
Let's see a kid.
For better or worse.
You were a real kiss.
Sandra Bullock.
Hello?
Ryan Reynolds.
Oh! Oh! Oh my God! Why are you
The proposal.
Okay, I know this is usually the point of the review where I say, I think you can pretty much figure out what the rest of the plot is going to be. Clearly, this movie is going to be terrible. I mean, why would I have anything positive to say about this movie? Well, you might be surprised on this one. This is actually one of the better formulaic romantic comedies, and I've always said, you could make a good formulaic romantic comedy, but you have to do it with good chemistry from your two leads, and Sandra Bullock and Ryan Reynolds definitely have that. Bullock plays a Canadian executive who learns that she may face deportation from the U.S. because her visa renewal application was denied. Determined to retain her position as editor-in-chief of a publishing house, she convinces her long-suffering personal assistant, played by Ryan Reynolds, to temporarily act as her fiancé. See, I'm still not sounding completely right here, but I'll get through this. But you also see the cast also includes Malin Ackerman, Craig T. Nelson, Mary Steenburgen, and Betty White, which is very significant because this was around the time when there was this little bit of a Betty White renaissance. I mean, everyone wanted to be in the Betty White business. I mean, she would soon star in this was kind of the start of that because she would later be appearing in other comedies from Touchstone. There was also a TV show that came out around that time, Hot in Cleveland. And more notably, she was in a Snickers Super Bowl commercial, and that was really the thing that really set this Betty White renaissance to the next level because she was later appearing on Saturday Night Live for the first time, and she had kind of a little bit of a renaissance at this point. I mean, it was something that was very unusual and unexpected, and it's kind of started with this movie in particular. And I mean, she's fine in particular. She's not really all that groundbreaking or anything that amazing in there, but it's fun to see Betty White in a movie like this. It's fun to see all these people in here, and boy, did Ryan Reynolds need this badly. Like, if you told me in the summer of 2009 which Ryan Reynolds movie was going to be the bigger hit, most people would have probably told you X-Men Origins Wolverine, right? And then look what happened. The proposal ended up being a much bigger hit. It was a bigger critical success, and surprisingly, he and Sandra Bullock really worked well off each other. This was a big year for Sandra Bullock, too, because, she had this, and then she would have ended the year off with The Blind Side, and then have a comedy in the middle that didn't quite work. But we'll eventually get to that one when we get to Labor Day. I mean, this is a perfect example of a good, fun, little romantic comedy. It's not asking you to think with your brain. It's not just dumbifying itself down. It doesn't have all these dumb characters in particular that you just can't stand. You don't want to be anywhere near these people. No, it's a romantic comedy that's doing what its job. It's doing its job. It's got two likable leads to it. The script overall isn't bad. I mean, there's a couple of moments where the jokes don't really fly, but for the most part, the movie definitely delivered a lot more than I think a lot of people give it credit for. I don't think this is as good as something like Ghost of Girlfriend's Past, which I think is a criminally underrated gem that we've looked at before. But this film in particular, I thought was really good. I thought it was a big surprise. I didn't think it was going to really amount to anything when it came out like most people did. I thought it was just going to be another bland, generic Sandra Bullock comedy, but it's more than that. It's a fun, serviceable, bland, generic romantic comedy. And yeah, it's a very formulaic storyline, but as I said before, if your two leads are working off each other so well, you can let that slip aside because you're enjoying what's going on. And you can enjoy a lot about this movie that makes it work overall. It's a very, very good film, a well-made film. Surprisingly a lot better than it had any right to be. What a fun little surprise from the summer of 2009. The Proposal, pretty damn good movie. One I would highly recommend checking out. So with that said, let's go ahead and move on to our next movie, and that is the comedy that you would think would be good because it has Jack Black and Michael Cera, more importantly, Harold Ramis as the director, but, yeah, let's talk about Year One.
They're not hunters. And they're not warriors.
I'd like to see how big you are without that whip. Same basic size.
On June 19th, I was chosen by the gods!
Yeah, here we go. I never got a sword.
This is really too fast. Oh, sorry!
It's pretty amazing with the old...
Year One.
My God, 2009 had some really, really bad comedies. I mean, we've already taken a look at a couple of them so far. Bride Wars, New in Town. We haven't even gotten to Old Dogs yet, but Year One is definitely one of the worst, not only comedies, one of the worst movies of the year of 2009. And just, I mean, I can't believe how bad this movie was. I couldn't believe it back then. I still can't believe how this film has just gotten worse as time has gone on. It really should not be that bad of a movie. It's a funny concept. basically it's a parody of the Book of Genesis, where you have two tribesmen played by Jack Black and Michael Cera who travel to the city of Sodom to save their love interests, Juno Temple and can't remember who the other one was that they were trying to save. June Diane Raphael. That was the other person that I'm thinking of here. I was thinking of Olivia Wilde, but no, she's another character in this movie. But to save their love interest after being banished from their tribe, problems quickly emerge during their journey as they encounter several biblical figures across the way. And on paper, it really doesn't look that bad. I mean, it literally looks like a modern-day retelling of a modern-day version of something like Holy Moses or History of the World Part 1, those movies from the 80s. Because it has a lot of stars in there. It takes place at a period time. And if that was it, this movie probably would not be anywhere near as bad as it is. But, I mean, even the performances in here aren't bad either. Jack Black and Michael Cera are fine. They're not that great in here. They're just being Jack Black and Michael Cera. The cast overall is really good. I mean, Oliver Platt, David Cross, Christopher Mintz-Plasse, Vinnie Jones, Juno Temple, June Diane Raphael, Olivia Wilde, Bill Hader, Hank Azaria. The cast is good in here. The people who made this movie are not hacks either. Like I said, Harold Ramis directed this movie, and it was the last thing he directed. And Gene Stupnitsky and Lee Eisenberg, these are guys from The Office. There's no reason why this movie shouldn't be as bad as it is. And if you take away one aspect of it, it's a serviceable comedy. Unfortunately, somebody at Sony Pictures saw The Love Guru while they were making this movie and told the people making this movie, "Hey guys, I've got a great idea. I just see this amazing movie called The Love Guru. It has Ben Kingsley pissing in a gold vat. I mean, it's got two elephants fucking in the middle of an ice skating rink. That's what we need in our movie. So take the script that you had before, add in poop jokes, add in a ton of gross out humor because that's what the kids want to see. We're gonna have a blockbuster hit on our hands." Oh God, yeah. When the crude humor starts, that's where the no is. And let me talk about the cruel humor in this movie with a better example of a cruel humor joke from from a much better comedy called Airplane. The shit literally hits the fan. And literally, let's talk about what the problems with the cruel humor. It's not even funny. It's just characters are just doing things for the sake of, being gross because it's not even an R-rated movie. It's a PG-13 movie, and even for a PG-13 movie, this is just pathetic. I mean, you ever seen where Jack Black is eating poo for no reason? You have Michael Cera sleeping on a man who farts considerably for no reason. A drag queen high priest played by Oliver Platt, and just, last time Oliver Platt was used in a Harold Ramis movie, he was one of the best things about that movie, and that was The Ice Harvest. And really, if you want to see a legendary comedy director in the prime of his career with a movie that really is much better than this pile of garbage is, The Ice Harvest is the movie to go. Don't even bother with this movie. Good Lord, this movie was unbelievably bad. I could not believe it. And yeah, it's bordering on Love Guru bad. It's that bad. But unlike a movie like The Love Guru, where everything about it was just wrong on so many levels and just so unfunny, there are times when the humor can work. Not the gross-out humor, but the humor in general. Like the stuff that they're given to these very good comedic actors. It can work. The stuff with Cain and Abel, David Cross and Christopher Mintz-Plasse. That was funny. That was actually pretty good. Some good, funny comedy. Olivia Wilde has some good, funny moments in here. So do a lot of the actors in here. But really, the main problem with the movie comes with their lazy attempts to bring in gross-out humor because that's what the kids want to see, as the studio execs at Sony were thinking when they make this movie. Like whoever said put gross-out humor in this, I hope they got their ass fired because of this. Because, man, this is a terrible, terrible movie, and such an insulting way for Harold Ramis to go out. This one of the great comedy directors of all time, one of the great comedy people in general, and this is the shit he's got to go on, literally. Like this, it's unbelievable. It is unbelievable how horrible this movie is. This is a terrible, terrible comedy, and Had it been not for the few bits where there were actually some good funny moments with the main cast, I would have said this is one of the worst movies of the year, which it is. It definitely is, but compared to Bride Wars, compared to what we'll get to later on in the year with Old Dogs, and compared to some other comedies we'll get to that are absolutely god-awful, yeah, this is bad, but trust me, it's going to get a whole lot worse before it gets better. So strap yourself in, because we're only at the halfway mark of the summer of the year of 2009 in terms of comedy. This was not one of the stronger years for comedies in general, even though there were some good comedies. The Hangover was good. Ghost of Girlfriend's Past was good. This one's definitely one of the worst ones. Easily. So, let's try to end this on a much more positive note with our last movie here. Woody Allen's latest film, starring Larry David, Whatever Works.
Religious psychotics wind up praying at my doorstep.
She left me.
That happens with you heteros.
That would make you... that's just sin against God's law. He made the whole universe perfect. The oceans, the skies, beautiful flowers.
That's right, he's a decorator.
Unbelievable. Whatever love you can get and give, whatever happiness you can provide, every temporary measure of grace, whatever works.
I mean, honestly, you look at this trailer and you can pretty much get a good sense of everything that's kind of not working for this movie in general. It's not a bad movie, but it's definitely an example of a film where you have two very different styles of comedy coming together and not meshing well at all, but attempting to impress his ideologies on religion, relationships, and the randomness and worthlessness of existence. Lifelong New York resident Boris Yelmennikov, played by Larry David, rants to anyone who will listen, including the audience, but when he begrudgingly allows naive Mississippi runaway Melody St. Anne Celestine, played by Evan Rachel Wood, to live in his apartment, his reclusive rages give way to an unlikely friendship, and Boris begins to mold the impressionable young girl's worldly views to match his own. When it comes to love, whatever works is his motto, but his always perplexed life complicates itself further when Melody's parents eventually track her down. So, it's kind of like a little bit of a similarity to As Good As It Gets, the Jack Nicholson movie from about 12 years prior to this, which was done a whole lot better. But really, you watch the trailer and you can see the instant problem with the movie right away. Woody Allen's trying to make his own movie, but he's also trying to do... It's basically Curb Your Enthusiasm the movie, because when you watch this trailer, it's definitely feeling like a movie that Larry David is the director and star in. This does not feel like a Woody Allen movie at all. And it's just one of those examples where you have two different comedy mindsets. Woody Allen and Larry David don't have the same style of comedy. I mean, at least, I don't think I see it overall. There's times when you could probably sense it a little bit, but, I mean, Larry David cemented his style of comedy with Seinfeld and Curb Your Enthusiasm, and Woody Allen's comedy is definitely nowhere near the lines of Seinfeld or Curb Your Enthusiasm. At least I don't think it is, but... yeah, it just fails to find an identity right away, and kind of ends up ripping off much better movies, such as Good As It Gets. I mean, you got a good cast overall here: Larry David, Evan Rachel Wood, Patricia Clarkson, Ed Begley Jr., Michael McKean, Henry Cavill, one of his early film roles. But yeah, overall, you just come out of it feeling like, I should like this movie. I mean, it's Larry David in a Woody Allen movie. Larry David can be very funny. Woody Allen can be really good, but this is definitely one of those films where I think there was a good idea on paper, just bad execution overall. And I think that's really where the problems come into play here. I don't think the film really finds that true identity of what it wants to be and how it can distance itself from one person's different form of comedy and try to mesh it together well here. It just really struggles to find an identity. Sometimes it can be funny. Sometimes it can work, but it's not enough for me to say it's one of Woody's better movies. It's definitely one of the lesser Woody Allen movies. Not a bad film, but just one that I'm probably never going to watch again is right away. It's something that, for maybe a one-time watch, just for the curiosity's sake, it's probably worth it. But other than that, though, it's just really not worth it in the end. It's a letdown, too, because there's so much potential that could be done here, but... again, it's just finding the compromise for both of these different people's style of comedy to make it work, and it's just not there, unfortunately. So, yeah, mixed opinion, but mostly kind of leaning towards you really shouldn't watch Whatever Works. Maybe for a one-time watch if you're a big Woody Allen or Larry David fan, but you're never going to want to watch it again after this.
B, I want to talk to you about the college thing, okay?
I'm so excited!
Hey,
not taking you with me.
Look at this place! I feel smarter already. Can you smell it?
Yeah, it smells like $40,000 a year.
Hey, beautiful. Made you a long-distance relationship kit. I got your webcam so we can chat 24/7.
Sounds cute. I can't wait.
I just had a full-blown mental meltdown in the middle of my class. I'm seeing symbols.
We've kept much from you, Sam.
This isn't my war.
I fear it soon will be.
What you're about to see is top secret. Do not tell my mother.
Any of these look like the symbols you saw?
Where did you get these? Archaeologists found these unexplained markings in ancient ruins all over the world.
They gotta mean something, like a message or like a map. Megatron wants what's in my mind.
Not gonna go without you.
Fate rarely calls upon us at a moment of our choosing.
Now, from that trailer there, it really doesn't look that bad. Compared to the first Transformers movie, it looked like they're doing what a sequel should do. They should be upping the ante. They should be adding in more action. There should be more, more scale, more stakes, more characters that are being introduced in the series in general. It doesn't look that bad. But then when you have to dig into every single thing in this movie and what happens after you watch that trailer, needless to say, yeah, it gets pretty. It's a rough one. Set 2 years after the events of Transformers, this film takes place with the battle between the Autobots, led by Optimus Prime, and the Decepticons, led by Megatron. The Autobots and Sam Witwicky ally again to face an ancient Decepticon named the Fallen, voiced by Tony Todd, who pursues revenge on Earth. And, there's a whole subplot about Sam going off to college, and he has a long-distance relationship with Michaela, played once again by Megan Fox, who is basically here to be eye candy for pretty much everybody, every guy out there. I mean, literally, that scene in there where she's on the motorcycle, it's just like, they knew what they were doing. And the sad part is, they used her as eye candy in the first Transformers movie, but at least she did something in that movie. In the final battle, she wasn't completely useless. She gave Sam the motivation to go forward in that movie at times. But here, she's just there to be the stock girlfriend. I mean, they literally give her nothing else to do except to look pretty, look sexy, and that's pretty much it. But Sam there's a whole thing where a piece of the Allspark causes Sam to have this mental breakdown in the middle of his new class and causes him to see symbols, which eventually leads into the war, and to Sam pretty much saying, Megatron, what's inside me? It's just like, I mean, there's no way you could say that without that sounding extremely, extremely gay or homophobic, but not even homophobic, but you get the idea. Like, it sounds really, really gay. Like, it really, really does sound like that. Now, I know you shouldn't say that, but I'm sorry. Whenever you hear somebody say, somebody wants something inside of me, it's just like, it just, no matter who it is, whether you're gay, straight, that sounds really, really odd, putting that in there and making that part of the action. And, yeah, this movie is pretty much just, yeah, it's a film that, when I saw it, I didn't mind it. I thought it was okay. I thought it was what it was supposed to be. A good, fun, over-the-top summer blockbuster. But yeah, there are a lot of problems with this movie. A lot of problems that will take me way too long to do in a short review like this. But I'll try to cover a lot of the problems with the movie, because there are a lot of problems. Let's start with my first real problem with the movie, and that is Isabel Lucas, who plays kind of another love interest when we actually find out she's actually a pretender. You know, the other characters from the Transformers franchise, you know, pretender Transformers. Which in turn sounds cool at first, but then when you see it in the movie and you realize how really, really stupid it actually is, because it really is really stupid the way they present it in the movie. Like, the way it's presented in here is just like, oh my god, you completely missed the point in that whatsoever. Plus, there's no reason for her to be there. I mean, yeah, it's eye candy away from Megan Fox, but she's gone within 20 minutes of her first appearance and is never mentioned again. She is a pointless character in the movie, and it makes no sense whatsoever why she's there. Shia LaBeouf's comic sidekick, roommate, played by, of all people, Ramon Rodriguez, who, he's kind of obnoxious in here, and believe it or not, Jonah Hill was originally going to star in that role, but Seth Rogen basically told him, you know, don't even bother with that, focus on your own projects, which coincidentally he would later star in Night at the Museum, Battle with the Smithsonian in a bit role. He chose that over this, which, even though he was only in there for a little bit, it was probably the much better decision overall. But, you know, as much as Ramon Rodriguez isn't really that great in this, we've obviously seen that he's gone on to be a pretty good actor overall. He's great on Will Trent on ABC, so, hey, it's worked out for him overall. Just, there's a lot of other problems with the movie, too. The fact that you could tell this was the movie. I've been building up for the last couple of episodes now about how the writer's strike happened in 2007 and going into 2008, and it basically kind of ruined a huge number of different movies that were in the works. We already mentioned Quantum of Solace. We mentioned a couple of other movies, but this one here was the big one that was really, really hurt by the writer's strike, because, you know, Aaron Kruger, Alec Kurtzman, Roberto Orsi, they weren't there on this movie. They all had to be on the picket line. So who's going to write the script whenever they're not there? Well, Michael Bay, of course. Why not? And you find out almost immediately why he should never have put his hand on the script on this, because once he took over, this thing came careening off the cliff. We've got scenes where, you know, Michael Bay feels the need to have one of the robots literally have a dick and testicles. Like, it's literally, like, they don't even hide it. It's not clever the way they hide this thing. No, it's literally a robot with his dick and balls out for the world to see. And this is one of the ones where they have to make John Turturro more. They embarrass a great actor like John Turturro by having him wear G-string underwear. Like, I get it. In the first movie, he was wearing the goofy boxers, and that was funny when that happened, but, no. Having him go from that to G-string underwear and kind of making him an idiot in this, like, you know, they really dumbed this character down. And John Turturro, I've talked about how great of an actor he is, and, man, Michael Bay completely ruined him in this movie. But, and then you gotta talk about Mudflappin' Skids, voiced by SpongeBob SquarePants. Yeah, those two incredibly racist robots that added nothing to this movie whatsoever except to just be the stereotype robots. I mean, they weren't even funny. I mean, back then I might have been like, okay, that's kind of amusing, I'll just let it slide. But no, as time has gone on and you slowly but surely start to realize that, oh wow, these guys are not fun. These are not guys are not funny at all. They're not even given anything remotely funny to do. It's just like, you know, it's almost to the point where you would literally swear. There was a part where Michael Bay basically tell him to go get chicken and waffles or something like that, or tell him let's go pick cotton. Like even somebody there would probably be like, hey man, you've gone too far. So that's probably why they didn't do it. But on top of that, you know, what was the deal? There was this whole plot about the guy trying to shut down the Nest Command, and it's just a subplot that just kept going and going and never went anywhere. Just like the fact that. Actually, no, not even that. It was just like, they bring up Barack Obama in here. Yeah, he was president at the time of this, but, you know, they make a big deal about the fact that the president has a problem with robots. Like, why? What does this really add to the movie in general? And it's like the charm and the thrill of seeing robots on the screen isn't there anymore. Granted, the force battle scene was still pretty cool to watch, but other than that, though, everything else in here just felt like you could just tell that this movie was completely dismantled by the fact that Michael Bay basically took over the show. Even Steven Spielberg's name isn't attached to this anymore. It's like Michael Bay threw Steven Spielberg into a closet, locked the door, and said, "Okay, Grandpa's gone. We can do whatever the hell we want to now." And then, you know, Michael Bay takes over, and this is the end result of it all. I mean, this is about as low as you would think it would get. I mean, yeah, it would get worse after the next movie, because Dark of the Moon was a little bit of a brief move back up to what made the first movie work as well. But then after that, you know, Age of Extinction, The Last Night, yeah, those are definitely much worse than this. There's still stuff in this movie that I'll give it credit for. There's stuff in there that I think are actually still pretty good. But other than that, though, yeah, this is definitely a major step down from the first movie, and it's mostly because Michael Bay basically took over the film, and there was literally nothing they could do to stop it, because, you know, the writers weren't there. I mean, the people who wrote the script for this weren't there, so basically they had to come in and finish the job, and it just completely backfired on them big time. I mean, it really is just like that, plain and simple. But you know, we've seen it. You know what we've seen later on down the road, though. Once you take Michael Bay away from the Transformers, the series actually gets pretty good again. Bumblebee was great. Transformers: Rise of the Beast was pretty good. Transformers 1 was one of the best movies from last year. I mean, the series is back on track, and especially mostly because Michael Bay's not in complete control of the project anymore. I mean, like, once you take him out of the equation, that's when the series really started to get good again. But now, with him, with these movies that he's in control with here, it's more miss than hit, and this is definitely one of the big misses in the franchise in general. Transformers: Revenge of the Fallen, yeah, it's pretty bad. It's a pretty bad movie. It's got fun action overall, but it's not enough to save the film in general, so there you go. I said I wasn't going to talk about it for 10 minutes, and we're nearing the 10-minute mark on this one, so yeah, I lied to you on that front there. So let's go ahead and get to our next movie. Let's go ahead and move on to the film that had the balls to go up, maybe the dick and balls of a robot, to go up against Transformers. And that's Cameron Diaz in the cancer drama My Sister's Keeper, also with Abigail Breslin.
Once upon a time, I saved my sister's life, and it was a miracle.
Taylor, maybe we could hang together sometime.
It's a good life, isn't it? Your kids? If they are, question is, are they yours?
I guess you could say that we're a little dysfunctional. But everybody loves each other, and we do the best we can.
My Sister's Keeper, rated PG-13, stars June 26th.
So in Los Angeles, the 11-year-old Anna Fitzgerald seeks the successful lawyer Campbell Alexander, trying to hire him to earn medical emancipation for her mother, Sarah, played by Cameron Diaz, that wants Anna to donate her kidney to her sister. Anna's played by Abigail Breslin, and her sister's played by Sophia Vasilvia. I think I'm pronouncing that right. She's on Medium. But, where's the plot at? Where's the plot at? Oh, there we go. So anyway, she tells the lawyer the story of her family and after the discovery that her older sister, Kate, has leukemia. How she was conceived I cannot read today. Vitro fertilization to become a donor, and the medical procedure she had been submitted since she was 5 years old to donate to her sister. Campbell accepts to work pro bono, and the obsessed Sarah decides to go to court to force Anna to help her sister. This is directed, of course, by Nick Cassavetes, whose previous film was The Notebook. No, I take that back. It was Alpha Dog and then The Notebook. But he's been a decent director overall, and this one is. It's okay. It's fine for what it is. The Campbell Alexander is played by Alec Baldwin. You also have Jason Patric as the father in this. And, like I said, it's a fine movie. Is it a great movie? No, it's pretty much just kind of a been there, done that type of storyline. But it's the type of movie where its heart is in the right place. And it's very schmaltzy. It's very much a melodramatic summer movie that you take the families, the mother and the grandmother to, if you don't want to see Transformers, or you just take the kids let the kids go see Transformers, and then, or the dad can take the son to see Transformers, and then mom, dad, and the sister can go see this movie. Yeah, it's not a bad movie. It's just a film that's just kind of there. The performances overall are pretty good. This is actually probably one of Abigail Breslin's best movies she had done outside of Little Miss Sunshine, honestly. But other than that, though, it is what it is. It's just what it's just what you think it is, and it's not bad at what it's doing. It's a sweet little story. Nothing really too groundbreaking, nothing really too spectacular, but its heart is in the right place. It's doing what it needs to do, and I'm not going to really say anything bad about it per se, because it is what it is. So, yeah. It's a decent watch overall, My Sister's Keeper. So, with all that said, let's get to the last movie that we have here, and it's easily the biggest of the three movies, even though Revenge of the Fallen made all that money. This week, we have this year's Best Picture winner of the Academy Awards, Catherine Bigelow's The Hurt Locker.
It's the best way to go about disarming one of these things. What are you doing, Deister?
Some experiences take you beyond danger, beyond fear, to the very heart of courage.
What's he doing? I'm gonna die. I wanna die comfortable.
One of the most acclaimed motion pictures of the year is the film Time Magazine calls a near-perfect movie, and Roger Ebert says it's a leading contender for Academy Awards.
Oh, boy.
The Hurt Locker, rated R, now playing in select city.
Of course, it ends with the most iconic shot of the movie, but why the hell did they set it up like a Looney Tunes cartoon gag? Like you're almost expecting the bomb to go off, and you see Jeremy Renner in blackface with a sandwich board that basically says, "Oh, here we go again," like that type of thing. It's just like that's a weird way to put that scene in there, because in context, that does not feel like that should belong there. But this is The Hurt Locker. You follow an Iraq War explosive ordnance disposal team who are targeted by insurgents and show their psychological reactions to the stress of combat. The writer, Mark Bowl, drew on his experience during embedded access to write the screenplay. And you have a couple notable people from the MCU, Hawkeye, Jeremy Renner, and Captain America, Anthony Mackie. Also, Guy Pearce is in here, too. Brian Garricky, Christian Camargo, Ray Fiennes, David Morris, and of course it's directed by Catherine Bigelow. And this was notable because it not only won Best Picture that year, but Catherine Bigelow became the first woman to ever win the Academy Award for Best Director. And I mean, those accomplishments overall should put this movie in a note of history in general, just by the fact that she was the first woman director to ever win the Oscar, which is very impressive. And then not only that, she also won for her producing role as well. So it was a big night for her when this won. It's weird because this was the year when the Academy Awards did the thing where it's all 10 nominees, and there were a lot of good movies in those categories. Like, you had Up was in there, Up in the Air, Precious, Inglourious Bastards, District 9, Avatar, a lot of good movies in that category. And I think most people would say that this is probably one of the weaker nominees in that category. I don't know. I'd probably put it somewhere in the middle. I think this movie's been getting kind of a backlash in the last 16 years since this has come out. It didn't get the best reviews. I mean, it got great reviews overall. It was a highly praised film. There was a lot of criticisms by Iraq veterans and embedded reporters saying that inaccurately portrayed wartime conditions. Which, I mean, when is the last time that we've had a movie that literally... I mean, this can't all be Platoon is what I'm trying to say. It's just like, we can't all be like Platoon guys. All I'm saying is that it's okay to stretch the truth as long as you're making a good movie out of it. And The Hurt Locker, I think, is a lot better than people let on. I mean, yeah, it's one of the lowest gross... I think it is still the lowest grossing Best Picture winner of all time. Because I remember when this won the Oscar, I don't think a lot of people were expecting this to do anywhere near as good as it ended up doing at the Oscars. It really did much better than most people thought. I thought something maybe like Avatar would have won, or wishful thinking probably would have thought District 9, or even something like Precious or Up in the Air. Like, I think a lot of people thought much better movies should have won this. It's not one of my favorite Best Picture winners, but it's not one of the worst Best Picture winners. Trust me, the next year's Best Picture winner is one of the worst ones ever.